Hey guys, this is Tamale2 and I'm here with more Pokemon card emerging powers openings. As you can see here, I have 4. I have a Darmanitan, Cobalion, Bravery and a Thunderous. So if we open this, take that out, put it to the side, and here's the first pack. I think it's 1, 2, 3. Put them in the front, I think it is. Yes, it is. And I have some of my favourite cards at the end of this. First, we have a Basculin, which has 80 HP, obviously a water type, knows Tackle for 1 energy, which is colourless and does 10, and for 1 water and 1 colourless, does Splatter, which does 30 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon, and it doesn't apply resistance or weakness to benched Pokemon, which is good. Once again, from if you watched the last video, you'll know that I got some of these. It's a Lilligant, it's obviously Leaf, 90 HP, 1 Leaf Energy, Bemusing Aroma for 20. Flip a coin. If heads, defending Pokemon is now paralysed and poisoned. If tails, is now confused. So that's pretty good. For 1 leaf and 2 colourless, not sure if you can see, you can use Cut, which does 60. Weakness is Fire times 2, and resistance is Water minus 20. Next is Watchog, which is 90 HP, colourless, knows Watchek for 1 colourless energy. Look at the top 5 cards of your opponent's deck, put them back on top of his or her deck in any order, which isn't that fantastic really. Or for 2 colourless energy, Quick Tail Smash, 20 plus. Before doing this attack, flip a coin. If heads, it does 60 more. If tails, this attack does nothing. The weakness is fighting times 2. So that can be okay. Now we have a Woobat for 1 psychic energy and 1 colourless energy. It does Psybolt, which flip a coin. If heads, defending Pokemon is now paralysed, it does 20. It's Psychic type with 60 HP. Next is Panpour, where you can use for 1 colourless energy, collect, draw a card. For 2 colourless energy, scratch, 20 HP, 20 damage, and it knows it has 70 HP, and its weakness is electric times 2. Not sure how good you can see that. Next is probably one of my favourite bug types. It is the Waddle, which is a grass type, 40 HP. 1 colourless energy does Tackle for 10. 1 leaf energy does String Shot. Flip a coin. If heads, the defending Pokemon is now paralysed. Its weakness is Fire times 2. Next is Clink, which is Metal type with 60 HP. 1 colourless energy does Spinning Attack, which is 10. 1 metal and 2 colourless are Gear Grind, which does 30 times. Flip 2 coins. This attack does 30 damage times the number of heads. its weakness is fire times 2, for its resistance is psychic minus 20, so that can be quite helpful. Next is Foroseed, which is metal type, 50 HP, and for 2 metals energies it can do pierce for 20 damage. Weakness fire times 2, resistance is psychic minus 20. Now for the foil of the deck is Beratic, which I have actually been looking for, and I am glad I have found that because I have 2 Cubchews. It is water type and 130 HP. Sorry if I'm stuttering, it's hard to read this one, and sorry for stuttering during all the others. For 1 water energy and 2 colourless, it knows Sheer Cold, which does 50 damage. For defending Pokemon can't attack during your opponent's next turn. And for 2 water energy and 2 colourless, it knows Icicle's Crash, which does 80. This attack's damage isn't affected by resistance. So pretty much if you have him, you can defeat most of your enemies, unless it's grass with a water resistance, then it can be a pain in the bum. Its weakness is metal times 2, and it doesn't have a resistance. And the rare of the pack is Whimsicott, the evolution of Cottony. It is grass type with 80 HP. For 1 colourless, it does Encore, which does 20 damage. Choose one of your defending Pokemon's attacks. During your opponent's next turn, the Pokemon can only use that attack. So that can be helpful if they have really pointless ones. And for 2 Leaf Energy, it knows U-Turn, which does 40. Switch this Pokemon with one of your benched Pokemon. For weakness is Fire times 2. And the resistance is water minus 20. Now if we move on to the Cobalion pack, let me just open it. Now if we move on to the Cobalion set, as you can see Baratha here, we move on to Gothrita first, which is Psychic type with 80 HP. For 1 colourless energy, it does Double Slap, which is 20 times. Flip 2 coins, this attack does 20 damage times the number of heads. For 1 Psychic and 1 colourless, you can use Psybeam, which does 20, and the defending Pokemon is now confused. So that's quite good. Now it's the evolution of Foroseed, and it's Ferrothorn, which is metal type and has 90 HP. For 1 metal, it knows Iron Defense. Flip a coin. If heads, prevent all effects of attacks, including damage, done to this Pokemon during your opponent's next turn. For 2 colourless energies, it knows Power Whip. Does 10 damage for each energy attached to this Pokemon to one of your opponent's Pokemon. Don't apply weakness or resistance for benched Pokemon. Its weakness is Fire times 2 and resistance Psychic minus 20. Now it's another Basculin. I'm not going to go through him because we've already been through him. So just go back if you want to know what his is again. In case I didn't say it last time, his weakness is Electric times 2. Next we have Sandile, which has 70 HP, is Fighting type. For 1 Fighting and 1 colourless, he knows Bite for 20 damage. His weakness is Water times 2. Now we move on to Gothita, in case you can't see. Probably not the best because this is focused for far away. Gothita is a psychic type. It has 60 HP and it only knows one move, which that is colourless, 2 colourless, for smack, which does 20 damage. Its weakness is its own type, psychic, for psychic times 2. Next is Pidove. It's a colourless type, so normal, flying, all that type. It knows one move, which is Gust, and that does 20. Its weakness is electric times 2, and its resistance is fighting minus 20, which you don't normally see on colourless, so that's quite good. Oh, we're coming up to the shiny. I can see it peeking out. So now we have Ferroseed, or Ferroseed, however you say it. It's a metal type, and it's 60 HP. This is different to the other one, because the other one knew Pierce. This one knows Pin Missile for 1 metal and 1 colourless. It does 10 times. Flip 4 coins. This attack does 10 damage times the number of heads. So that can do a maximum of 40 damage, which is okay. Weakness is fire times 2 and resistance psychic minus 20. Oh. Now this one is Joltic. Don't want you to see that one because I read it and it's good. This one is Joltic, which is electric type, has 40 HP. For 1 colourless, it knows Gnaw, which does 10 damage. Its weakness is fighting times 2. Now, here's for the foil. Yes, the foil of the pack is Terracon, and in my last one I got the Rizian, if that's how you say it. So, all I need left is Cobalion, and I have all 3 of them, so I am pretty pleased with that. Terrakion, or how do you say that? Terrakion is fighting type. It has 120 HP. For 1 fighting and 1 colourless, it has Boulder Crush, which is 40. And for 2 fighting and 1 colourless, it knows Sacred Sword, which Cobalion, Virizion, and Terrakion, I'm just going to call him Terrakion, each know as their signature move. It does 100 damage. This Pokemon can't use Sacred Sword during your next turn, and its weakness is Grass times 2. And the rare of the pack is Scolipede, which is a psychic type, 140 HP. Its first move is Toxic Claws for 1 psychic and 1 colourless energy. It does 30 damage. The defending Pokemon is now poisoned. Put 2 damage counters instead of 1 on that Pokemon between turns, so that can help. And the second move is Wild Horn for 1 psychic and 2 colourless. It does 50 plus. Flip 2 coins. This attack does 20 more damage for each heads. The weakness is psychic times 2. Next, after this pack, we will be going on to the Bravery pack. So keep watching. Hey guys, this is the Bravery pack now, or Bravery. I've already had it opened and everything. I haven't looked at them yet. I look at them when you look at them, so we keep that sense of surprise. And the first person is Boldor, the evolution of Roggenrola. He is fighting type, 90 HP. For 2 colourless, he does headbutt, 30. For 1 fighting and 2 colourless, he does hard crush, which is 60 plus. Flip a coin. If heads, this attack does 20 more damage. If tails, this Pokemon does 20 damage to itself. So that can be risky. So let's hope for heads. And his weakness is grass times 2. Next is Tranquil, the evolution of Pidove. It is colourless. Its HP is 70. For 1 colourless, it does claw. Flip a coin. If tails, this attack does nothing, and that does 30 damage. So that's risky. Or for 3 energies, which are colourless, it does wing attack, which is 50 damage. Its weakness is electric times 2 and resistance is fighting minus 20. Next is a trainer card, which is Bianca. It is a supporter. Draw cards until you have 6 cards in your hand. So that can be helpful sometimes. Next is Ducklet, which is a water type, 60 HP. For 1 energy, it does Roost. Heal 40 damage from this Pokemon. This Pokemon can't retreat during your next turn. And for 2 water energies, it does Rain Splash, which does 20. Its weakness is electric times 2, and resistance is fighting minus 20. If you're going to use him and not evolve it to Swanna, then I would do it against a weak Pokemon, not a super strong one. Next is a Cottony. It's grass type, HP is 40. For 1 leaf energy, it knows Absorb, which does 10 damage, and heal 10 from this Pokemon. Weakness is fire times 2, and resistance is water minus 20. We have another Panpour, if you want to see him go back. Next we have a Darumaka, which is fire type, 70 HP. For 1 colourless, he knows Tackle. For 1 fire and 2 colourless, he knows Combustion. Tackle does 10 damage and Combustion does 30 damage. His weakness is water times 2. Next is Venipede, which is psychic type. The first Prevolution of Scolipede and Whirlipede. He has 70 HP. For 1 psychic energy, he knows Poison Sting. Flip a coin. If heads, the defending Pokemon is now poisoned. For 2 colourless, he knows Tackle, which does 20. His weakness is psychic times 2, and he doesn't have a resistance. My shiny of the pack is Ordino, which I have to say is probably one of my favourite. It's 90 HP, which is colourless type. Not, you know what I mean. For 1 energy, she knows Powerful Slap, which is 40 times. Flip a coin for each energy attached to this Pokemon. This attack does 40 damage times the number of heads. And for 3 colourless energies, she knows Heal Pulse, which is heal 50 damage from 1 Pokemon, and it can be from any. So 5 energies, 5 chances to flip coins, 5 times 40, that's 200 damage. So if you get all of them, you're bound to win. Her weakness is fighting times 2, and the rare of the pack is Gothitelle, which is also a reverse foil, I think they're called. Well, it's a foil in the picture. The ability is Magic Rune. As long as this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, your opponent can't play any item cards from his or her hand. And for 3 colourless energies, she can use Madkinesis, which is 30 plus. Does 20 more damage for each psychic energy attached to this Pokemon, and the weakness is psychic times 2. That was a pretty good pack. By the way, it's 130 HP and psychic type. Hey guys, this is the last pack, which is the Thunderous pack. I did have a sneak peek, and it's not the best one, but if you want to keep watching, then at least you're dedicated. The first one is Gotharita, which is Psychic type 80 HP. I done this earlier, so go back and watch if you want to know the details again. Now we have Whirlipede, which in all of the packs we have now got the full evolutionary chain. Whirlipede is Psychic type with 90 HP. Psychic Energy is Venoshock, which is 10 plus. If the defending Pokemon is poisoned, this attack does 60 more damage. So that can be helpful using, I think it's Venopede's attack, or just any attack which poisons really. For 3 colourless, it does Steamroller, which does 40, and it's not affected by resistance, so that's good. Weakness is Psychic times 2. So again we have a supporter, which is Bianca. Now we have Pansear, which is Fire type with 70 HP. For 1 colourless energy you can use Collect, which you draw a card, and for 2 colourless you can use Scratch, which does 20 damage. The weakness is Water times 2. Now we have a Summer Deerling, which does Leaf, which is a Grass type. It has 60 HP, and for 1 colourless it knows Tackle, which does 10 damage, and for 2 Grass it knows Wild Kick, which does 40 damage. Flip a coin. If tails, this attack does nothing, so that's a very risky one. Weakness is Fire times 2, resistance is Water minus 20. Now we have a Sewaddle. Again, we done him earlier, so just rewind if you want to see his details again. Now we have a Minccino. It is colourless type with 60 HP. It only knows 1 move, which is a colourless energy last resort, which is 30 damage. Flip a coin. If tails, this attack does nothing, so that is a huge risk if you play him, unless you have Cinccino in your hand. His weakness is Fighting times 2. Now we have a Cubchoo, which is 70 HP and Water type. Now, along with Beartic, however you pronounce it, we now have his full evolutionary chain as well. So we've got a lot of evolutionary chains in this. For 1 water energy, he knows Powder Snow, which does 10. Flip a coin. If heads, the defending Pokemon is now asleep, but he also knows Rest, which for 2 colourless energy heals 60 damage from this Pokemon. This Pokemon is now asleep, so that is fantastic against weak, but I don't advise it against strong. Weakness is Metal times 2. Now we have the shiny of the pack is Thoraseed, Metal type 50 HP. We done him earlier, even though he wasn't a foil, so just rewind if you want to see his details. And Unpheasant is the rare of the pack, and we also have his full evolutionary chain. I think it's a her due to males having the plumage on their head, so I'll refer to her. Unpheasant, it has 120 HP, colourless type. For 1 colourless energy, it knows Tailwind. Attach an energy card from your hand to one of your Pokemon, so you can attach 2 in that go, which can really help. And for 3 colourless energies, it knows Feather Strike, which is 40 plus. Flip a coin. If heads, this attack does 40 more damage. If tails, discard energy from attached to the defending Pokemon. The weakness is electric times 2, and the resistance is fighting times -20. So he is quite good, and that's his Prevolution. Thanks for watching all the way through. If you like this, I'll do it like once a month, maybe longer, maybe shorter, depending on how my money goes. But just subscribe if you want more, and eventually, as I start getting doubles and more online codes and everything, I will start offering them in competitions and stuff like that, so make sure to keep your eyes peeled. Thanks for watching.